Good morning, class. We're going to do our April Venture read. Today is Tuesday, April 7th, and I hope you're all doing well. Take a look at the email that I sent. See what you have to do for today. There's some fun things with Mystery Science if you want to go on there. Take a peek. Click on it, see if you can get on. If not, okay. Yesterday we read chapter 4, What's in Mr. Pocket's Pocket? And the kids found 12 eggs. And when they went home, Josh, Dink, and Ruth Rose were making breakfast. And then they told them that they were the shadow and they hid the eggs. But they said they couldn't have the prize until they found the 4 real eggs. And they told the kids where they hid the eggs. And they're like, well, we looked right there, but they were gone. And they're like, well, what color did you paint them? And they were golden eggs. And the only person that they saw in the park at that time was Mr. Pocket. So did Mr. Pocket take the golden eggs? Chapter 5 is called Raccoon Blues. It took only a few minutes to walk to Indian Way Road, where Mr. Pocket lived. Bradley brought Pal with. Pal liked to play with Randolph, Mr. Pocket's dog. The kids climbed up Mr. Pocket's porch. Bradley rang the doorbell. They heard barking from inside. A man's voice said, "Hush, Randolph." Then Pal barked too. His big tail swung back and forth. The door opened and Mr. Pocket smiled at his kids. "Well, hello," he said. He was holding a fluffy dog in his arms. "Look, Randolph, we have company." Randolph wiggled to get down to play with Pal. Pal tugged on his leash to reach Randolph. "Hi, Mr. Pocket," Bradley said. "We were wondering if we could ask you some questions." Mr. Pocket raised his bushy white eyebrows. "Questions? Questions about what?" he asked. "About missing Easter eggs," Nate said. "Ooh, a mystery," Mr. Pocket said. "Come on in." The 4 kids and Pal trooped into Mr. Pocket's living room. Mr. Pocket set Randolph on the floor. "You can let Pal off his leash if you'd like," he told Bradley. Bradley did, and the 2 dogs began to wrestle. "Please come in the kitchen," Mr. Pocket said. "I have something on the stove." Bradley, Brian, and Nate and Lucy followed Mr. Pocket. He walked over to the stove and stirred something in the pot. "Do you kids like spinach?" he asked. "No," shouted Nate and Brian. "Yes," shouted Bradley and Lucy. Mr. Pocket laughed. "Don't worry, I won't make you eat any," he said. "Actually, I'm boiling dandelion greens. They taste even better than spinach." "You eat dandelions?" Nate asked. "My parents pull them up and throw them away. Aren't dandelions just weeds?" "Yes, they are weeds," Mr. Pocket said. "But if you pick the leaves before the yellow blossoms open, they make a delicious meal. I just boil them for a few minutes, then add a little butter, salt, and yum, yum." Mr. Pocket set down his mixing spoon. "Now, what about this egg mystery?" he asked. The kids told him how Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose hid some plastic eggs for them. "But they also hid 4 real eggs," Bradley went on. "They painted them gold. They said that if we found them, we would get a treasure." And here is Mr. Pocket, if you can see in the sun, boiling up his dandelion stems. Not sure if I'd want to eat dandelion stems. Mr. Pocket smiled. "And did you find the eggs?" he asked. "No, they told us where they hid the eggs, but they disappeared," Nate said. "We remember seeing you in the park," Lucy added. "We wondered if you saw them." "No, I only saw the swans and a lot of dandelions," Mr. Pocket said. Randolph and Pal raced into the kitchen. "I wonder if Randolph ate the eggs," Brian said. Mr. Pocket laughed. "My little dog doesn't like eggs," he said. "Well, we had better keep looking," Bradley said. "Thanks a lot, Mr. Pocket. Sorry we disturbed you." "Oh, you didn't disturb me at all," Mr. Pocket said. "Randall and I love company." He walked the kids to the door. "I hope you solve your mystery," he said. The four kids walked out into Mr. Pocket's porch. You know, I just thought of something, Mr. Pocket said. He was looking through his screen door. Raccoons often steal bird eggs to eat. I saw a family of raccoons this morning. I wonder if they took your eggs. We saw them too, Brian said. That's a good idea, Mr. Pocket. The kids said goodbye, and Bradley put Pal back on his leash. Let's cut through the park and check out one more time. Maybe we'll see those raccoons again, Lucy said. They'd better not be having eggs for breakfast, Nate said. And that was the end of chapter 5. Tomorrow we'll read chapter 6. Snakes eat eggs too. All right. So the animals that they've seen in the park are the swans and the raccoons. Who stole the eggs?